So he paid for Google Ads, but his competition went to his ads and clicked it. So that they outbid him, right? So imagine like you're paying Google Ads and then your competition goes, finds your ad and just like clicks it, click.
So many times that you spend all your
So
money.
that they spend all of their money. So he's like, it's really shit, it's really competitive.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the E-Formula Podcast. This is the first ever episode of the E-Formula Podcast, and it's only right that I bring a YouTube expert. Because as you know, the E-Formula Podcast is going to have the YouTube video, interviews, sometime in person like this one, and sometime or on a computer like Zoom style. But with the YouTube in mind, it's only right that I have the one and only Sebastian Beja in the house. Sebastian single-handedly managed over $6 million subscribers YouTube channel combined, for his personal channels and his client channels, and he's averaging an average of 10 million views a month on YouTube. And when he saw my channel, I reached out to him and he's like, let's grow the channel, let me help you with strategy and everything. So it's a blessing to have him on here. He flew directly to come to Miami for this interview and to strategize with me on the channel. So I'm super excited to have him. And as you guys know, my commitment with this channel is to introduce you to people, individual entrepreneurs that have started the journey not so long ago. Because I believe for people to be able to emulate someone, to follow someone, you want to learn directly from somebody that is just few steps ahead of you.
Yeah.
So you can follow the footsteps, some fresh footsteps. And that's the whole vision of the channel, to bring entrepreneurs like yourself and, entrepreneurs that have succeeded on their journey, and also have created programs that a lot of other entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs have went through and created success for themselves. So Sebastian, welcome to the show.
Brother, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, this is exciting. We have a lot in common, because we started our entrepreneurship journey around the same time. In 2016, we took advantage of the same opportunity that was presented to us back then, and the rest is history. But we're gonna get to hear a piece of that history, that story here with Sebastian. Sebastian, where were you when, you get the opportunity? And we're going to talk about the opportunity, so don't be in a hurry. Yeah. Where were you before you get the opportunity to, join the OMG for, to learn about SEO and create your own marketing agency?
Well, I mean, I was actually already having like a trips and events business. So before I went online, I was about to graduate college.
Okay.
I was like, doing like a passion project, which is the trips and events. So what we did is we helped students, foreign students, to basically travel and learn more about Mexico, and we facilitated that. So we did trips and events.
Wow.
And but I was feeling really stuck because I was like working nonstop. I mean, I loved it because it was meeting people. It was like, like traveling with foreigners, right? With people from everywhere, from Europe, Asia, that they were coming to Mexico to study.
That's a great networking opportunity as well.
But it was like I was feeling really limited because it was like mostly on like the party side of things, right? So yes, you were meeting other people, but there were like different interests. So I wanted to like grow more. I wanted to like learn how to like be more of a business person, and so I was feeling like kind of stuck because we've been doing that for like 5 years, and we started that project while I was in university.
Oh wow.
So then I kind of felt that we were doing it for some time, but I felt that I was already kind of like outgrowing it, right? So I was looking for other things to do. I was looking for like other opportunities, right? And of course the internet was always kind of staring me at the face, right? Like, okay, what should I do? And I don't know if I told you that, but I actually had $1,000
Wow.
saved. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start selling like stuff on the internet, right? I'm gonna start selling, I don't know, like Facebook, like Amazon FBA or like products, right? So I remember I went into Facebook ads, I spent my $1,000, and I remember Facebook saying something like, man, you're getting clicks, it's working, like you're getting leads, right? Like, and I don't know, I was selling this like product that I found. They're like, yeah, you just grab this product, send Facebook ads traffic, and it will sell. Mm-hmm. And I remember Facebook saying, it's working. And I'm like, well, it's not working for me. Like, it's working for you. Like, I didn't get any return on $1,000.
Wow.
So I lost all of my $1,000. Those were my savings, right?
Wow.
And then I remember saying thinking to myself, like, why do I have to pay for people to see my product? Like, that was the realization. I was like, why do I have to pay for traffic, right? Yeah. Traffic is people. Like, why do I have to pay like Facebook to send me people? And I remember going onto Google and I typed something like how to get traffic for free.
Nice.
I was like, there has to be a way that I don't have to pay for people to find my product.
100%.
And this is when I started learning about like other methods, strategies, which don't require you to spend money on advertising, mm-hmm. so you can get clients, customers, eyeballs, people to see your product, yeah, right? Yeah. And this is when I started to, learn more about content, SEO, optimization, and this is where we met.
Yeah, and you stumbled onto OMG, and you decided to join the program back then. How was that? Like, I know the investment, but I would just want to tell people about the investment. How much did we have to invest in the program?
So I lost $1,000.
Yeah.
And then I started to learn things for like free, right? Like mm-hmm. on the internet. And I was also in Mexico, so there's many things, and it was like 2016. So I think that it was not so developed, right? Like, like programs and like, like there were people making money, but there was a lot of, still there is, but there was like a lot of like scammy mm-hmm. shit, right? Like there was like a lot of so I remember I heard about this guy called Tai Lopez, right?
Lopez, yeah.
And then I started following him, and it was back when it was like Snapchat was huge, so I even had Snapchat, and then he had an event, and I was so desperate, man.
Wow.
That I was desperate because I'm like I'm learning things, and it was like the 67 steps. Like I'm learning things, but I'm not like I'm learning, right? Like I'm it's like reading a book. Like I'm getting wiser, mm-hmm. but I'm not making enough money, or I'm not making money, right? Yeah. Like and I think sometimes we get into that loop, right? Like you learn, but they're like, okay, you're winning the same money or less, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't have money coming in. I clearly needed to bring money because I needed to pay for rent. It came to the point that I bought the program. So like from Tai Lopez, I met Mike Long, OMG, which was this program, like this like all-in-one SEO. And what really got me was that people were having results.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, if you're going to buy a program, I think that the best thing is, of course, to evaluate who has the program, but also to evaluate like
what is the success?
To the success of the results, right? A mentor always says like, like value a mentor from the results of their students.
100%.
Right? Because it makes it replicable, right? Yeah. Like it makes it scalable, especially when you're starting out, right? There's many things that I cannot be able to teach that is just because of my experience and the way that I process things, right? But so there could be amazing people that make a lot of money, mm-hmm. that they're super good businessmen, but they don't have the ability to train and teach and show a replicable process to someone, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's like what I saw, right? Like they were good, but they were also like a lot of members, right? And I remember texting one guy before I was buying it because it was $8,000.
Yeah.
So $8,000, I lost money on Facebook ads, and I was going nowhere. And I also invested in like Ty's program, $67. And then I flew to LA to go to an event that he had in two days, right? So I was like minus like 3,000 already.
Minus 2,000 euros already on the whole.
Yeah. And And then how did I invest is I grabbed my mom's credit card and I paid for the program in like installments. So I was like, okay, like I have like some time to make it work, to get some, money from the program. And I mean, I think the one that braked it for me was like, I was literally texting a guy and I'm like, dude, like, is this for real? Right? Like, it's always like you're on the fence. Like, is this for real? Like, a guy from the internet, and they're like, they are doing this. This thing is called like SEO, and like, is this for real? And he says, like, bro, just do everything that they tell you to do.
Boom.
Like, that was the only thing. It's like, dude, this works. He was like, his name was Bolton. And he was like a year before.
I remember the name.
Right?
Bolton, yeah.
And then he was like, dude, just do exactly what they tell you to do. And that's what, that's what I did, man. That's what I did for like 6 months. I had to move out from where I was. Mm-hmm. So I was living in the north of Mexico. I had to move out because I didn't have any money.
Wow.
Right? So for like the time that I was like working, learning, implementing, right? Learning this new language, which was 100%. SEO. Like, it was not even a skill. It's like, it's its own language, right?
Own language, 100%.
And then I had to move out, and that was challenging, man, because I was like 25, 26.
Wow.
Was I? Yeah, I think it was like 20. No, I think I was like 26, 27. 26, yeah. I think I was 26. And I remember that I had to go and live with my mom at 26, man. Already graduated from university, put my head down. Like, I had a degree. I haven't been living in my house since I was like 17.
Wow, you've been hustling all those years.
Yeah. Between university and between, I also had a full scholarship in university, right? Like, it's not that I pay for it. Like, my mom's a single mom, right? So then I went back to my mom, where my mom lives, to like it's like in the west coast. Of Mexico, and then it was hard, right? Because I optimized my finances, but it was hard because it's like it was like a failure, right? It's like you just graduated from like the top universities, you had a scholarship, and then you cannot even pay rent, and then you're living in your parents, right? You're living in your parents, like literally, like I was living in my parents' house while I was getting traction with the program and implementing and everything.
Yeah, I think this is like one of the most important aspects of it. and from financial standpoint, you're like, okay, I moved back, I'm saving, I don't have to kill myself on rent anymore, have my mom, I can go back and re-strategize and go back out.
Yeah.
And in one side you are thinking about, I'm 27, I graduated from a top university, haven't been at home for the last 9 years, and now moving back in with my mom.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a part of your subconscious haunts you.
Yeah, I think psychologically it's really hard.
Psychologically it's really hard. But one of the things that I heard Magic Johnson said that one time, that the winners in life are the people that are willing and able to adjust and adapt.
Yeah.
And what you did there is like adjusting and adapting and bearing the the psychological effect that might have caused you back then.
Yeah. And I think my mom, like, she was, and I know that there's some people, maybe that have had this, which is that they get a lot of like hate kind of from their parents or from their family. They're like, what are you doing? I think my mom supported me. I think there was a lot of doubt in her, but I never felt like, oh, go get a job, right? Like, I remember a scene where I think she got it, and we were literally in the living room. We just finished dinner, and she's like, I've been already like 3 months in the program, learning about SEO, content creation, traffic optimization, building a website, right? Like
all that,
like all of that, right? Which we now have done for ourselves, we have done for clients. I used the same skill and applied it. I used SEO, search engine optimization, and I applied it to YouTube, which is a search engine, right? Like those was the foundation of what we're doing now, what we do, what we teach, what we preach, what we, But I would remember sitting with her, and we finished dinner, and I just told her, right? Like, I was like, I don't know what it is, but I have to master this skill. Like I told her, like I really felt it. I'm like, there's something inside of me that is telling me that I have to go through this. Like I have to keep moving forward and master traffic. I remember I told her traffic is basically, a synonym of knowing how to bring people to a business, to an offer, to a website, and I was like, there's something inside me. So it was not like, yes, of course I wanted to make money, but it was like something more intrinsic. I don't know, maybe it was my gut feeling, maybe it was, life, God, universe. I don't know, like I felt it, right? Like you just feel shit.
It's like, this is it.
Yeah, and I was like I have to walk this path. Like my next level, my next step is me mastering what the hell I'm learning, right? Yeah. And that is what really drove me. I was like, I have to master this. Like I have to go through this. And everything, it was kind of also faith, right? I'm like, everything will make sense once I just go through this, right? And 100%. Go through this and maybe in like a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I'm gonna look back and be like, I followed that feeling. Right?
Followed your feeling. This is incredible, because I can relate to it, and it's literally step-by-step basis as well, because we went through the same program. We had to learn like a completely new language. This is the SEO language. If you know SEO, you know what type of animal it is, But where did the breakthrough happen?
That's a great question. I think that it happened, so right before I left to my mom's house, there was a really random experience. Like I always tell like my clients or students, like, bro, there's like, you can always find a client in the most random places, like literally, right? Like one client is your breakthrough.
100%.
Like, like you can find like client, like someone paying you for the skill that you just developed. They're always there, right? Like, and it was funny because before I left, I went to a wedding. So a friend of mine in the north of Mexico, I don't know why, you have to go to a wedding with someone. So you have to be like with someone. You cannot go alone. So I was like in super shit, right? Like I was like in debt. I earned my mom money. I was nowhere near to like success in the program. Like I was like 3 months in trying to learn everything, right? Figuring it out, right? And there was a lot of support, but you also have to go through it, right? You have to do the thing, right?
100%.
So then she told me like, hey, come to the wedding with me, just a friend. And I was like, man, like I'm not really in a good spot, man. Like I don't want to be celebrating. Like I just want to be focused. But I committed to her like 6 months before, so I didn't remember that. Right, so I said yes, and she's like, bro, the thing is that I cannot go to this wedding alone because literally that's the code. Like you have to go with someone. So if you don't go, I don't go.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I didn't know anyone about the wedding, but she was like her friend, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, okay. And then the only thing that I remember is like I wanted to feel special and like rich, right? And I was like, okay, my only thing is that you return me into an Uber Black, like a really nice car, so that like after the wedding I go back to my apartment that I was almost barely paying with an Uber Black car, right? Like a Mercedes. And she's like, okay, deal, I pay for it. And dude, that changed my life, man.
Wow.
Because I mean, it was like 4 or 5 a.m. If you know anything about Mexican weddings, they can get pretty wild. So I was obviously, under the influence of alcohol, but I was loose, I was playful, I was right. And then, she got me the Uber, right? The Uber back to my house. 4 a.m., man, and I'm talking with this Uber dude, right? And Uber was just getting started in Mexico. So, and I start to ask him, hey, how do you get clients, right? And then he's like, well, I mean, Uber is one source, but like we also like pay for Google ads. I'm like, what? You pay for Google advertising? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, and we have a lot of trouble. I'm like, why? And it's because, and dude, wow. I was like,
That was wild.
That was wild, dude. That's wild. That's some wild Mexico shit, right? So, I mean, I was also trying to find clients to sell my SEO services.
Yeah.
But like no one still to this day understands what it is.
No one understands
You know?
what SEO is.
No one understands. So imagine, it's like no one understands it sometimes in the US. Now imagine in Mexico, right?
In Mexico, right?
So it's like we're like 7 years behind on any type of marketing. So imagine we're like 20 years behind back then, right? And I told them.
Trying to think,
I know you never do that, right? It's hilarious, man.
clicking your competitors' ads on Google.
Yeah.
Please, guys, don't go and do that.
Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's like bad competition, you know.
That's
Like
bad competition.
I'm all for competing, but like, dude, be honorable. You know what I mean? Like,
Gary Vee have a saying that you don't build the tallest building by tearing down everybody else
That's exactly
around you. You know, you build the tallest building by building the tallest building. So keep that in mind. Please don't tear other people's buildings down.
So, but for me, I was like, oh my God, then that means that there's like a market, like there's like a fit, right? So I literally pitched him while drunk and I was like, bro, I'm going to partner with you. I'm like, I'm gonna build your website, I'm gonna rank it so that you never have to worry about these dudes clicking. Actually, they will click it and they will even rank you more. And I'm gonna send you clients, like, you know, like clients. And after they pay you so that you can drive them to the airport or whatever, then you pay me.
Wow.
So like there was no like the best offer. Like
Best offer ever.
And then this guy is like, what? Like imagine a drunk guy telling you like, I'm gonna partner with you. So dude, I was serious. I was drunk, but I was serious, man. We have a saying in Mexico that kids and drunk people always say the truth. So I was literally like, I was committed, man.
Wow.
I arrived to my house 4:45 a.m. I start doing keyword research, right? Which is something that we're learning. And I'm like checking the keywords. I'm checking the search volume and checking the keyword difficulty, right? This is all like SEO things that we're learning. And then I saw it. I'm like, holy shit. Like there's so many people looking for this.
Open.
There's no competition. It's like a blue ocean is what, you know, what our mentors call like money keyword.
Money keyword.
And then I'm like, I felt it. I'm like, dude,
this is it.
I called him the next day, 9 a.m. And he's like, bro, I'm serious. He's like, who is this guy? I'm like, dude, I'm the guy from yesterday. We just partnered.
Uber Black.
And he's like, you were drunk, right? Like, I'm like, no, I'm serious, man.
Thank God you remembered.
And then I think that was like the breakthrough before the breakthrough.
The breakthrough before the breakthrough.
Because I got a person that was interested, even though he was not paying. And then I had no money, so I had to leave to my mom. And then from that point on, it was like September, October. I just focused. I just knew. I was like, I had direction. Like I was learning all of this stuff, and then I saw like, okay, like a path, right? I'm like, I know that if I rank this website, like, so the only thing that I focus all my energy for like 3 months, or maybe more, like 100 days, was ranking this website. I'm like, I know that if I rank this website, first of all, I'm going to prove to me that this shit works. And second, everything will change. Like I just knew it. I'm like, if I put this website in page 1 of Google organically, like everything will change.
Boom.
And then boom, man, like I focused like crazy for like, I mean, I remember even working in my birthday, which is the 30th of December, like fucking Christmas, like New Year's.
You know, our birthday is a day apart.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 29, right?
31st.
Oh, 31st. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. You guys can send the gift on.
So I worked for like around 5 months, man. And in January, this guy calls me and he's like, dude, this works. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, then I kind of catch myself and I'm like, of course it works. It's SEO, bitch, right? And I think that was the breakthrough, right? Like we were generating like around $300 calls a month.
Wow.
And then we kind of we had to figure out like how will he pay me? So he paid me for closed clients. So then I went up to like, he was paying me like around $700. Wow. But I'm sure we were generating like around $10,000 worth of business.
Wow.
So I was seeing the calls, I was tracking it, right? And then I was like, okay, what do I do? Scale it, right? there's only two stages in business. Like, I like to simplify it, right? Which is like, one, you're nailing it. And this is when you have a course, when you have a program, where you're doing something new. It's like spaghetti to the wall, right? Like, what do I do? Figuring out. And then something works.
Something works.
Right? Like something works. Like, you know, and for me, it was doing a crazy offer for doing all of the work, showing results, and then getting paid, right? That was for me, because maybe it was like the market was not ready, whatever, right? Or there's other people that did affiliate and that worked for them, and they didn't have to talk to clients, right? But like, figure out what is the one thing that can get you traction, or like, right? So for me it was that, and then I was like, okay, scale it, right? Nail it and scale it. That's the second phase. So I'm like, okay, boom. So then I offered the same thing. I leveraged what I just built, like the results, the traffic, the Google Analytics proof, right? Like, we're generating calls. And then I showed it to a guy that was doing jewelry in Monterrey, right?
Oh, wow.
So, and because I started to get better, right? Because I'm like, okay, this was really cheap, because this is like $10 to go to the airport. I'm like getting a commission of like $1 per ride.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need a higher price product.
Higher price product.
Right? Because I want the commission to be bigger. So I'm like, jewelry.
Yeah.
Right? Pff, genius. And then, you know, jewelry. So I started to go local. I literally did SEO for like brick and mortar businesses, man.
Wow.
And because those are, you know, people search for it, but they don't have much competition. And many people are doing ads, and the other competition is outbidding their ads, right? Yeah. So it's like perfect market. There's a clear pain, and then I already had one, right? So I ranked the jewelry site, started the same process, figuring out like how would they pay me, stuff like that. And then I think I went up to like $1,200, $1,500 or something like that.
Wow.
And this is where things were like, okay, like this is awesome, right? Like,
awesome, yeah.
And then those two people talk to other people. Hey, dude, like, all of a sudden you have more business. What's going on? Like, what's happening? And they're like, dude, I have a guy. You just don't tell anyone, the traffic guy. So then I started to get like messages like, hey, are you the traffic dude? Right? Like, can you give me some traffic? It was like a drug dealer, man, of traffic. Like, it was like a drug dealer of like people sending to your business, right? So I'm like, are you the traffic guy?
Like the traffic guy.
And then there was like weirdest proposals, right? I think I told you like there was one like escorts, right?
Yeah.
Huge market, a lot of demand, but I was like, you know, like I just feel weird, man. Like you know, like it's a bit on the shady side, and it's huge because there's no Google Ads, right?
Yeah.
They ban you. So it was like a lot of people search for that. And, you know, one of the guys is like, man, I heard your work from the other taxi dude. It was like all of this. It was not shady, because taxi was not shady, but it was like this other dude's hand with other shady guys, right? So he's like, yeah, because taxis usually will make money also by grabbing a person that is not from the city and then being like, hey, why are you here? Do you want to go to a club? Do you want to go to an escort, right? So like, that's the neighboring business, right? So like, so I started to all of these like neighboring shady businesses that the taxis are right? And I was like, I literally came to the point, like I actually did the keyword research, man. And I was like, bro, you know what? Like you're recommended, right? So I'm going to offer you value. I'm just going to do the research. I'm going to say that it's an amazing market, but I cannot do it. Like it's just against my ethics, man. It's against my feeling, right? And I literally think that would have been like an easy $5,000 a month, man, for sure. Like there were so many people looking for it. Like escorts in Monterrey, like escorts here, escort that. Wow. It was insane, right? And I was like, no. Like I decided not to go for it, right? I was like, it's not only that, it's the energy, right? Like
100%. Whatever you align yourself with, you kind of you know, the decisions you make today is the outcome that you're gonna get in your future. And
I was still needing money because I needed to pay for the program, right? Like, okay, $1,200 maybe sounds like, wow, it's amazing, but I'm like, dude, I was paying the program $900 a month, so like I was getting $1,200, but like really getting like $300, right?
Because you was paying the program.
Exactly. So I was paying the program still. And you know, in SEO, you're also like buying some links and creating content and the hosting. So, you know, all in all, is like I was kind of breaking even, Right? So it was like, it came to the point, I think just like God or universe tests you, you know, like it came to the point that I'm like, man, like this is a good one. Like this is, you know, like, but you know, maybe I would have taken, maybe not, but I decided there, I was like, no, I'm not gonna take it.
Yeah. And you know, now you pretty much don't deal with those type of clients anymore. Now you're YouTube managing channels over 1 million subscribers and stuff. Like, when did the switch happen? When did the switch happen from the local businesses to YouTube?
Yeah. So long story short, I can go into a lot, but I think like keeping it super short is like, I was like, what do I care? So after the whole escort thing, I'm like, okay, like I can make money. And that was like the other realization, right? Like the breakthrough was like, damn, like I can rank a site, I can make it monetize. And then like the big, like I think the breakthrough from that is like, damn, like I can apply this to any business, right? Like I think it's like people underestimate like that skill, right? Like when you master the skill of traffic or getting people to find you, you never get hungry, man.
Yeah, never.
Like you, like literally you have the power to transform a business.
Yeah.
Right? Like thousands upon thousands of businesses fail because the entrepreneur or the business owner doesn't know the art and science of getting traffic, of getting people to find them.
Yeah.
So I started to like become better, right? I was sort of like 9 months in, I started to be like, whoa, like I'm noticing that I can do things, I can affect businesses, right? Like this guy, $10,000 a month, right? The jewelry, right? Like $7,000 or $8,000 a month or more. Like that's maybe reported revenue that they told me, maybe it was more, right? I'm sure it was more.
Yeah.
So then I was like, what do I care about? You know, like, and I was getting more into personal growth. And I think personal growth is literally the neighbor of entrepreneurship, right? And I think it's the core. I started to shit, like read like I mean, I have the same thing, right? Like I started to learn about authors and personal growth, and you know, and this is when I was like, I want to help with my skills, something that I care about. Like I want to use my skills for good. And that was like the escort moment, right?
The escort moment give you that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so if you're saying no to money, like huge deal, then why are you saying yes to?
Exactly.
Right? So I'm like, okay, I need to figure it out. Like, what do I want to attract? Like, what do I want to manifest? Right? Like, what do I, with this skill, what I want to do? And then, you know, a couple of events, I think, that led me to Mindvalley, right? Like the biggest personal growth company, which back then was like, no one knew it, right? Like they actually thought that it was like a money laundering type of company because no one knew what it did. It was just like a massive affiliate of personal development programs. So like there was not like the brand. It was just like,
Mindvalley.
Right? So I remember I literally saw their website and I'm like, wow, these guys are pretty big back then. Now they're huge, but they don't have any like SEO organic traffic strategy. And you know, I started to the owner just released his book. I don't know if you have read about The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. It's a good book, man. Especially if you like reading a lot. Like it's The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And I was like, man, like I want to help that.
The Code of the Extraordinary
Mind. Yeah, Vision like Candy. And I was like, man, like I resonate with their values. Like I want to, and I saw that their whole like organic traffic strategy, SEO strategy was like zero. So I literally did what I used to do to get clients, which I did a video analysis, right? And that was something that we learned, right? Yeah. So I literally did like an 8-minute video analysis, like saying like, if you do this, if you rank, if you like, implementing all of the strategies, and then I sent it. And they literally got back to me like in 2 days and were like, we're expanding to organic traffic. We just opened up the role like a week ago. This is so weird that you just send that to us.
Wow.
We want to hire you.
You see how the universe works? You see how the universe works? You know, yesterday I was telling you that the amount of money that we're going to earn in our lifetime is recorded to the T. It's up to us to decide if we want to do it through like shady means or do it the right way. And because you said no to this,
it
Guess what
opened a huge
happened?
door, right?
Opened a huge door.
And you don't know there, right? Like I was scared shitless, man. I was like, man, like when I left I think I haven't like told anyone the whole escort story, where I think that was like a pivotal moment, because I was like I said no to money.
Yeah.
Right? And that's hard,
That's
especially
hard,
if
yeah.
you're struggling, right?
Yeah.
And I was still in my mom's place, right? Like I was still in my mom's place.
And you said no to money.
Yeah, and at first I didn't tell mom. I was like, if I were to tell my mom, would I be proud, right? That's like a lot of decisions. Like, would I be proud of telling my mom that I ranked an escort site?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. Then the answer, my answer is no.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, it was in her mind. Everything that I was doing was kind of shady. She's like, he's in a room, just like working, and then all of a sudden he says like, no, things are gonna be good. Like now I have a taxi business. She's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, so now imagine she's already in the shady mindset, now doing something more shady.
Yeah. That would have really made her lose her balance. It's like, no, you need to get
it's
out
like,
of
right?
this.
It's like this guy is like on the computer doing things, and like, so then fast forward, I literally said yes, man. I was like, something inside me, the same thing, maybe the same feeling, saying like, man, you have to master traffic. It was like, you have to go and help them, like.
And you went.
And then I sold everything, man, literally, because I was living in Mexico. They were like, dude, are you willing to move to Malaysia, fucking all the other, side of the world? And we want you to start leading the SEO side of things. And then I think fast forward is like in a year and a half, we took from zero. Many people don't know this because I only talk about the YouTube kind of success. Or like that's the one that I usually more known, but we went from 0 to 500,000 sessions, from 0 to like 50K a month in organic traffic in Google. So we like dominated. We ranked like nuts. Of course, they were giving me resources. I hired a team. There were like 2 SEO specialists. We had writers. Like we literally created an in-house SEO agency, right?
Wow.
And then from there, I was getting a bit bored, right? I'm like an ADD type of person. So I was like, okay, like I'm already like settled, right? I'm comfortable, like this is awesome, but I also want something more. And this is when I started to see that when you Google something, right? Then I started to see like a person just having a YouTube video above us. And I'm like, how is this possible? I'm like, we are like a 15 people SEO agency team, right? Like, and then a person, like a kid, talks about anxiety, right? And he just like, he's on top of Google. Like he's in Google, but like his video is ranking, like outranking us above.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? So I started to see more of this like Google ranking YouTube videos in Google, right? And then I started to get curious, and I'm like, man, there's something here, right? Like, how is this possible? Like, we are a team. Like, we're spending on links. We're like doing all of these strategies, and like this guy just ranks a video.
Yeah.
He has no one, right? Like,
nothing, literally.
Yeah. So I started to like reverse engineer, like, what are they doing? I'm like, if Google is the biggest search engine and YouTube is the second largest search engine, and they are basically cussings, then they have to operate via the same principles of SEO. And Mindvalley had back then a channel of like 30,000 subscribers, just one channel. Mm-hmm. So they had already some videos. So I started just optimizing like just on page. I call it on page video SEO, which was like back then there was not even tools.
There's nothing existed.
No. Like it was really new. But I was like,
all we knew back in 2016 was YouTube is a Google property. So whatever you put on Google property, Google prioritizes it on the search engine.
Yeah. And then I just started literally like on my own side, because I was leading a traffic like as an SEO Google team, right? And then started optimizing some videos. And then like a month passed, and I think I forgot, man. I was like, I optimized some keywords, changed a bit of the description, title, all of that, right? I didn't know actually what I was doing still. Like I was just like, okay, this makes more sense via the algorithm, right? Like feeding the algorithm what they actually want. Like that's like the whole Google premise. And then I kind of looked back at it, and there were like 2 videos that just went like views were like this. Like imagine views is traffic, and then they were like, whoosh,
All the way up.
Yeah, like like okay, 100 views a day, 100 views a day, and then it's like 10,000 views a day. I'm like, what the hell happened here? And then there was another video like and like, and I'm like,
wow.
So then for me it was like,
Big...
well, what if I do this a bit more, and then a bit more, and then it literally came to the point that I'm like, I think this is my next level. Like this is my next frontier. This is the next frontier of me of revenue. And yeah, like I think I was like, I asked for resources in the company. I'm like, yeah, they gave me like half of a dude, like freelancer. Yeah, like show us what you can do, right? So then we started to like optimize more videos and then like learn more about like content, now video, right? Because Google doesn't have video. So there's also a artistic aspect, right?
Yep,
which is
100%.
Creative aspect, which is what I like. I think Google sometimes can be a bit dry because it's just written.
Yeah.
So then we started, and then we started like, you start to see like, whoa, like there's channel, and then it was like, whoo, right? More views, more reach, more subscribers, right? And then I think also where energy goes, focus, I mean, where focus goes, energy goes, right? Like it's just, and I was like, this is it. Like I'm gonna master even more like video SEO, video marketing, all of that, right? And I also had a background in SEO, so I had it was like you've been doing karate for your whole life, and then you do taekwondo. It's like, it's easy pivot, right? It's like there's a lot of foundation that you've built, right? And then, man, it was like fast forward like a year and a half, and we had like 6 different channels. We had like in Spanish, in English, in French, in Italian. I was leading like a 20 people YouTube team, basically.
Wow.
We grew it from 30,000 subscribers to, with that one channel, to like 3 million subscribers. We created another one.
Subscribers.
Yeah, we created, we have two 1 million buttons, right? And we have like 100,000.
Wow.
So then I was training other people. So I created my own training. Like my training now that exists is the training that I used to train the team that was doing, right? Like, because I had to multiply myself, right? So I had to be like, okay, how do I get more people, train them? I had to train people from Mexico because they were doing Spanish, from Italian because they were in Italy, because I didn't speak the language, right? I knew how to grow the channel, but I didn't speak the language, so there was a limitation. I had to hire people from there. And all in all, like that went from like 0, because it's cool, like views, subscribers. But that went from like 0 to like $200,000 a month in organic revenue.
Organic revenue.
So like people seeing a video, clicking a link, going to a funnel, buying something.
Wow.
And yeah, then I think from there, like things just started to explode. Like people talk and they're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, and then I just started giving like free consultations because I'm like, okay, I want to know how to do it into like every niche possible. So I started to do consultation, like, okay, like what do you do? Real estate, so I started to like do like free consultations because I wanted to learn, like, could I apply this in like other niches, right? Could I apply the same things, or it was just because it's personal development? And yeah, I think from there, just like things started to like explode, like consultings, trainings, speaking on stage, right? People were like, dude, where can I like hire you? I'm like, dude, I have no time. I have like a full-time job. I have like, you know, and they're like, well, do you have a program? I'm like, well, I don't. And like,
the market forced you to.
Yeah, so like people were asking for it. I'm like, how much would you pay? And he was like, well, I don't know, like $1,000. I'm like, shit, okay. Right? I'm like, well, I kind of have a program, but it's the same program. I mean, it's kind of like training videos that I train my team. So then I'm like, okay, like, let's do it, right?
And
so it just kind of got me to that point, right? It just kind of was like people were asking, and then I was,
wow, this is incredible. And then you completely left Mind Valley.
Yeah.
As of today. How long ago you left Mind Valley completely?
Completely. It was like around around 14 months now.
14 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I still was like, I was still like consulting with them and stuff. And yeah, I think, I mean, it was a great experience, right? It was a great reputation as well.
100%.
It was like a launch pad. It really, you know, like, what do I want to do? Then I started like working with T. Harv Eker's team from the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, which like this New York Times bestseller, and then like Marissa Peer, and like other like personal growth authors, right? Like consulting them or like telling them like, what would we do in Mind Valley to like, so they can do it in their own channels. But yeah, it was like around 14 months. I mean, I still like, you know,
consult with them here and there.
yeah, like I still have some contact because I also like I love personal growth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's what that was my first decision. Is like, what do I care about, right? And then the next question after I did it with one movement, I call it like movements, right? Like Mind Valley is a movement. I was like, what are the other movements of people that have helped my life? So then this is why I went to like T. Harv Eker, right? Like the whole money mindset things completely really like gets me super fired up. And then I did it for the Art of Living, which is the biggest NGO in the world. Like this guy is called Sri Ravi Shankar, and he has like huge channel. It's called the Art of Living, and I was like, okay, like I learned a lot of like meditation and like practices to deal with like stress and anxiety. So I'm like, oh, I want to work with them, right? So I started working with them, like in a consult basis, like every month, and do some work and put my team on them. And then I'm like, could I create like my own channels?
Yeah.
So it's kind of levels, right?
Levels, yeah.
So I was like, okay, but now what if? So now what gets me really fired up is like, I understood like from the ground up, like, okay, brick and mortar, SEO, right? And then it's like, okay, SEO in a bigger level. Right, like Mind Valley, right, like scaling that. And then like YouTube in Mind Valley, right, and then like okay, then pushing that movement, and then like okay, what are the other movements that I care about that I want to push, right? And I also want to develop relationships with, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's like okay, what if you do it for your movement, right? Whatever you do it for what you care about.
100%.
Which, you know, in some way, I also care about those things, but they're not like the thing that I want to push out, right? Necessarily.
Yeah. And in personal.
I'm not driving that vision, right? Someone else is driving it, they hire me, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like exactly what we have. So now we've expanded all of that in Latin America. We have like around 10 different channels that we co-manage or consult or own. Basically all sending us traffic to, you know, any like personal development in Spanish, basically, because, you know, I wanted to like give back in a way or to contribute to like my own people. Like everything that I did was in English till like a year and a half, right? So it's like, how do I apply this? And our basically rebranded, our company name is called Elevate, right? Elevate in Spanish is the same thing. So it's like, how do we elevate more people, right? How do we elevate people with mindset, with personal growth, and with skills, right? And with the skills that I developed, right? The thing that worked for me, right? Yeah. So now we're in that journey. Like, how do we this movement? Yeah. How do we grow it more? Which is things that I've already been doing, but now you do it for you.
Completely different. You know, one of, like, as you guys know, the main purpose of this channel is literally, this is amazing story, and I know a lot of you guys can relate to the story. And when you think about entrepreneurship, you know, it's like literally being able to take your time off of the scale of money.
Yeah.
Right. And as you listening to Sebastian's story, you know that, okay, he went on his own and built, but went back into a company
yeah.
to create, you know, a lot of time people feel like, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, I just want to keep going. But when a stepping stone presents itself, you have to understand the concept that, okay, I'm an entrepreneur by spirit, by mind. I just need resources to go to the next level. And that's what, you know, what Sebastian have leveraged. He leveraged the opportunity of having, okay, people with great budget to play with so he can sharpen his knife. And throughout the process, he came across, you know, he figured out YouTube, and he have helped this company from $0 to $200,000 a month. Yeah. That was big. And from there, what he did was he went ahead and start implementing it for other people, other individuals, other authors. And now, I recently was blessed to work with you on one of your programs. You recently launched a program for YouTube. Yeah. Help, like, teaching people the skills that you have learned, the skills that you have applied to create all these, you know, would help these amazing brands to the regular person that is watching this. So if you're watching this and you like this is you're gonna witness my YouTube grow as you watch it, because I have Sebastian and his team running it. So it's gonna be really exciting. So if you want to learn more about YouTube, Sebastian, would you be down for a workshop sometime in the future, depending of the engagement that
I
we
would
have
love.
with this?
I would love. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a link in this video, and you're gonna just be able to click on the link and register for the workshop. We're gonna set it a couple of months out so we can have a lot of you guys that watch the video register. Sebastian's gonna come in for maybe 1 session or 2 sessions, depending of how much time we will need, or depending on how many people register for this. So we can have a really nice session where you guys can get to learn more about Sebastian's strategies and give you the opportunity to join his program if you think this is something that you want to leverage, want to use to step into the entrepreneurship circle. So Sebastian, this was epic. Before you go, I have this thing, right? For somebody that is watching this and they're currently working at a job or doing something that they just know that something need to change.
Yeah.
Something need to change. If you was to give that person 3 advice, what would the advice be?
So I think it would be, first, it was focus on your money mindset. And sometimes defining money mindset is tricky. But for me, a lot of things changed. I mean, I was, doing SEO for this big company. I was already getting some clients at the brick and mortar. But I remember seeing this interview with, with one of my mentors. And he said, what would you've done before, being an entrepreneur, or while you were being an entrepreneur, that you wish you would have done, way before? And he's like, money mindset. And because you could have the skills, right? You could be really good at your job. You could have the skills. I mean, I had the skills. We had the skills. But money mindset is understanding money, right? Money, value, leverage, understanding all of these things that I think it's another skill that helps you to potential, to exponentiate,
and
right?
to really uplift everything.
So I think that it's money mindset, right? I mean, there's many things. This T. Harv Eker's book, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Secretly, I'm working on my own book, first in Spanish, and then in English, right? We actually have a money mindset program in English. We haven't launched it. When I filmed the Latin version, right, the Spanish version, I filmed the English version as well. I was it would come to a point. Now I actually give it to the highest value clients. So I include it. I'm hey, you have all of this training of YouTube and how to scale and how to do what I did. But I also pair it up always with mindset.
What if we do something, because this is you have 2 more things to go. What if we do something in which we're going to give the people that watch this the opportunity to jump into that money?
Dude, I would love, man. I would love.
Yeah, we're going to
So you can get my money mindset training. It's 21 days. It's literally 3-4 hours. It's every day it opens. It's fucking powerful.
Nice.
We have already clients going through it with results. I just don't sell it. I sell it as a package.
As a package.
In Latin America, I do sell it as one thing.
I think we should. You have the English version?
Yeah.
We're gonna make sure that you guys get access to get the opportunity to jump into the English version. Maybe that's what we're gonna do on the workshop.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it a little bit and give people the opportunity to do so. So go in the link and register for the upcoming session that we're gonna do with Sebastian. Be a webinar format. Just register and we'll see you guys in there. You have 2 more to go.
So money mindset for sure. Mm-hmm. Second one is you need a monetizable skill, right? So I tell our coaching clients is you need to upgrade your money beliefs or upgrade your hardware, right? It's this phone, right? You cannot install WhatsApp or Telegram or any app if you have a Motorola 98 phone. You know what I mean? You cannot install the apps. Right? So it's first you need to upgrade your hardware, right? Yeah. And then once your hardware is set, which is basically your money mindset, step 2, or the second advice is you need to have monetizable skills.
Monetizable skills.
So the apps, right? Yeah. It's get an app of like monetizable skills. Now that could be in any forms, man. That could be Facebook ads, that could be SEO, that could be YouTube SEO.
Yeah.
You know, that could be sales on LinkedIn, right? That could be just I say get one skill where you can understand traffic, understand how to get people to your business or to other people's business.
Yeah.
Right? Like master a skill of traffic. And that could be Facebook ads, YouTube ads, SEO, YouTube SEO. Like there's so many, right? And that's also a bit challenging, but like focusing one, right? Because once you know traffic, right? And how the art and science of getting people, you will never be hungry. Like, dude, if you literally lost everything right now, you go out and you close a business. And you're like, bro, I will do your SEO. I will literally do the same strategy. Yeah. I will come out. I mean, now the cool thing is that I'm in Miami, so we can, people will spend more.
Yeah.
I will go and I'll be like, hey, bro, so I can get you more clients in 30 days. Don't pay me. I will create a website. I will do everything. I will rank you. And then you pay me after you see results.
Boom, that's it. When you have the skill, it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to eat.
Dude, literally, like, it doesn't matter where I am. Amazing. Like, everyone uses the internet, right? Amazing. So get a monetizable skill.
Monetizable skill.
And the third one, man, it's learn how to sell that skill, right?
Learn how to sell that.
Like sell, yeah. So it's like get a traffic skill and get a conversion skill. Because you can be amazing, and for me, that has been like where I have been focusing most of my time lately. I'm amazing at sending traffic to shit, right? Like literally, to our programs is like the thing that we have mastered is just like massive traffic. But our conversions are not as high as I want them to be. And I'm like, okay, what do I have to do, right? And this has been recent, man. It has been last year. I'm like, well, I have to learn how to close, how to sell, how to do a webinar that sells, right? How to create an offer, right? How to create an offer, how to figure out like who's my avatar, right? Like who am I talking to? How do I close them?
Yeah.
Because I was always a traffic dude, right? Like I'm not like I never did the sales. I just send you people and then you that want your product and then you are the one who has to, the business. So the second one would be like learn something when it comes to sales. And that could be like high ticket sales, that could be like closing, that could be like email marketing, for example. Email marketing is like it's a closing or copywriting, right?
Copywriting, yeah.
So one skill of traffic and one skill to monetize that traffic, to turn that traffic, those people into buyers, into clients. And I think those three, are like powerful.
Like one of the things that you mentioned, like those three things, like we cannot make this up. Pretty much when I made the first video of the channel and the description of this channel is, I'll be sharing with you some of my personal lessons that I came across from reading a lot of books, talking to people like Sebastian, and mistakes that have cost me hundreds, thousands of dollars. I made a mistake in 2020 that cost me over $100,000. So all of what you're going to be getting in this channel is lessons that came out of like deep research and a lot of time, expensive lessons, and you're gonna get access to that, and also introduce you to the entrepreneurs like Sebastian that have the monetizable skill, that have perfected, that have walked students through it, and it's very replicable, and that's like the commitment of this channel to bring those type of monetizable skills to the people.
Yeah.
And I like the third one that you mentioned, pretty much the insight and the lessons like your mindset, right? Work a lot on your mindset. And the second one is the monetizable skill, right? And the third one, the last one, is learning how to convert and learning how to sell.
Yeah.
Convert and sell.
Yeah.
So this is incredible. Throughout the channel, you're gonna see a lot of amazing insights, and most of it's gonna be about we have we have learned a lot of things. Me personally, I think I've read over 200 books in the last 4 years.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's amazing.
A book a week, pretty easy. Yeah. So
I have to learn from you, man.
So there's a lot of lessons, man. A lot of lessons. So that's why I find it easy. It doesn't matter what the subject is. Most of the time, I'm gonna have a really compelling answer.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know the need specifically, I can kind of have a general idea about the aspect. And then with the insight that a specific person have in the industry, they might be able to at least pick something that they can, tie in. So this is really exciting. Number one strike, we did it. This
Dude,
was epic.
thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, like give in the comments, say thank you to Sebastian for for showing up. He was supposed to go back to Mexico, Colombia yesterday. Right now, Sebastian is like traveling the world. He have a beautiful penthouse overlooking the ocean in what's the city in Mexico?
Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta. Yeah. But right now he's in Colombia. How did he end up in Colombia?
Dude, Medellin, man. Medellin is awesome. Like, my girlfriend is from Colombia, and half of my team is in Colombia.
Oh, nice.
And I have a business partner there as well. So it just makes sense for the business, man. Like, there's a lot of things when it comes to digital marketing.
Wow.
To be honest, it's more like finding talent, right?
Finding talent.
Now, a lot of what we're trying to figure out is how to scale, finding good talent, finding people that are hungry. And like, of course, in the US, people, speaking English, but this is like a lot of the side of the business is like Spanish. So like finding those people and then training them to a certain level. So I think the ecosystem in Medellin, they call it like the Silicon Valley of Latam as well.
Really? Wow.
So the valley, it's actually a natural valley as well. So I think, and to be honest, they call it the city with eternal spring. So, the weather is amazing, the food is amazing. The people, if you're single, like the girls are incredibly hot. I already told him.
All my subscribers are gonna move to.
Yeah, and the people are awesome, man, and it's also extremely cheap.
How cheap is it?
Man, it's like.
Think about an apartment, like a nice apartment in Colombia, like overlooking some water somewhere.
I think, like, for example, we're seeing if we invest there. And it's like less than $150,000, max $200,000
to buy a house.
Yeah, and to buy a really nice apartment, like overlooking the city, the entire valley. It's beautiful. A house, I don't know, but because we're trying to look for an apartment, and the cool thing is that the rent is also is really high. So, like, for example, you could rent it out for like $2,500 because there's a lot of people there, like wanting to move there, like there's a lot of people from the US as well, like going there.
Oh, wow.
So the rent is extremely high, actually, if you were to compare it to like a normal place in Latin America, but the price of the apartment is not as high proportionally.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's also really good to check it out also as an investment.
Definitely. I think I love Colombia. I have a team there as well, so it's really interesting. I think Colombia would definitely be in my list of cities to live in as soon as few things get sorted. So, guys, thank you, Sebastian, for
thank you so much, man,
for joining. This was epic. This was epic, and I'm glad you came and witnessed the beginning of the channel and everything that we're gonna build on top of it. It's gonna be part of the story pretty much, and I'm excited, man. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you have any questions, you can just drop it in the chat, and we're gonna put the workshop that Sebastian is gonna do around money mindset and in the description as well, so you can go ahead and register. And we're gonna make sure we have an evergreen webinar that would allow anybody, even if you're watching this video 5 years later, you'll still be able to get access to the resource that we created for you specifically because you watched this video. So without further ado, go ahead and subscribe, share the video with anybody you think should see it, comment and like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.